Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Here you are at Rising Engineer 2020 and hosted by Engineer Philip. And we are going to talk about sanitary facilities to public offices. But before we move on to the matter in details, if it is your first time to visit our channel, you are the most welcome, and we promise to give you the best content in science, technology, and environmental matters. So please subscribe to this channel and share our videos to your friends. Today's topic will be focusing on designing sanitary facilities for public offices. And by public offices, I mean a building housing a government department or agency or used for civic business, although some private offices would fall under this category when they host a big number of employees on regular basis. Secondly, the terms sanitary facilities are referring to clean toilets, washing facilities, and shower rooms. Talking about those facilities, let us first of all quickly see why these facilities are needed and are of the highest priority. First thing first, well-designed sanitary facilities largely contribute to employees' well-being. Employee well-being is a critical component of a healthy working environment and organization. Companies that promote well-being make it easier for employees to change stress levels while also maintaining a positive and productive environment. Second thing is that well-being can refer to mental and physical health as well as more complex things such as satisfaction and engagement levels, but also it contributes to the prevention of diseases. Employees who maintain healthy lifestyles tend to perform better and manage their stress and time more efficiently. They are more likely to have better energy levels and are less likely to get sick. Various studies have highlighted that healthy employees tend to be happier than unhealthy employees. Illness, stress, and emotional and mental pressures can affect an employee, leading to depression and a lack of motivation. Taking care of your employees' health in the workplace is not only beneficial to them, it also creates an effective and efficient work environment that benefits the business. Employee health and productivity go hand in hand. A mentally and physically healthy individual is more optimistic, creative, and motivated. Let us now move on to the technical side of the business. Most technical guys are challenged by sanitary facilities numbers, and by this I mean how many rooms, how many doors or urinals do we need? In order to tackle this question, we start by projecting out or estimating the maximum number of the facility users. This can be either the employees or other visitors. When your employees are of a small number, one toilet will be enough to accommodate them and be well maintained. And the more employees you have, the more doors are needed. Each country has its building standards that specify ratios of toilets to employees, but we're going to give you some guiding ideas. When you have less than 15 workers, one toilet will be enough and an extra room will be needed for additional 15 workers. Let us take some examples and see how things work out. For a company with 30 workers or 30 employees, 2 toilets will be enough, or 2 rooms or 2 doors will be enough. For a company with 45 workers, 3 toilets will be needed, and so on and so forth. Using the formula, a company with 100 workers will need to have 6 toilets. However, when the number of employees are over 100 but do not exceed 200, that number of toilets are limited to 12 doors. For big institutions, 6 more doors will be needed for every extra 100 workers. Other aspects of sanitary facilities for public offices include gender segregation, inclusion of urinals for male workers, and wash basin. Let us talk about gender segregation. Women are much more facilities dependent than men. Men may be able to urinate discreetly in open spaces outside latrines. Given cultural norms and psychological differences, women, however, are typically much more dependent on using latrine facilities. Gender-segregated bathrooms are public facilities where there are separate bathrooms for male and female workers, and this have been a practice for decades, if not centuries, in developed societies over the ground of users' privacy and comfort. We cannot finish this section without mentioning that gender-free or gender-neutral bathrooms are gaining popularity and have been instituted at various universities throughout the United States of America and Canada. Many institutions, buildings, and organizations have also implemented family bathrooms and care areas, providing parents with safe and comfortable spaces to take care of their children, regardless of their gender or sexual identities. Let us now talk about wash basin. An American study based on nearly 4,000 visitors to public restrooms showed that 15% of men do not wash their hands, while 70% of women do. However, only 5% of all toilet visitors, regardless of gender, wash their hands slowly and long enough to remove the unwanted bacteria and viruses that can cause disease. In most cases, one wash basin is needed for every 30 workers. Let us now talk about urinals. In busy public toilets, urinals are installed for efficiency. Compared with urination in a general purpose toilet, usage is faster and more sanitary because at the urinal there are no fecal drums, no additional doors or locks to touch, and no seat to turn up. For purposes of space and economic practicality, urinals are not typically placed inside stores. Unlike in female public toilets, optimal resource efficiency in men's or boys' public toilets therefore requires urinating in full visibility of other males. In recent years, it has become more common in some countries for dividers or partitions to be installed between urinals to eliminate any chance of incidental exposure during the process of urination. Urinals in high-capacity public toilets are usually arranged in one or more rows directly opposite to door, so that users have their backs to people entering or standing outside. Often, one or two of the urinals, typically at the one end of a long row, will be mounted lower than the others. They are meant for disabled and other users who cannot reach the regular urinals. In facilities where people of various heights are present, such as schools, urinals that extend down to floor level may be used to allow anyone of any height to use any urinal. In some localities, urinals may be located in public sidewalks or in public areas such as parks. These urinals are often equipped with partitions for the sake of privacy, and some are fully enclosed structures. They may or may not be equipped with water flushing mechanisms. Let us talk about urinals installation height and users' privacy. Although most appliances are supplied with an installation manual, different societies established the guidance on recommended installation heights for both juniors and adults. In that aspect, some standards recommend urinals to be installed at 510 millimeter, that's 51 centimeters, and 620 millimeter for juniors and adults respectively. In order to maintain his privacy, different solutions can be proposed, but the most common and easy to implement is the use of privacy screens. In some societies, these can be referred to partition wall or urinal dividers. Partitions shall begin at a height not more than 12 inches or 30 centimeters for the finished floor surface and extended to not less than 60 inches or roughly 150 centimeters above the finished surface. Thank you for being with us. Be safe and see you next time. Rising Engineer 2020.